Hey guys, so in this video I want to talk a little bit about my own, struggles with mental health and why I'm so passionate about mental health and mental health awareness. By the way, shout out to all the people that do this regularly. It's not easy. It's not easy to figure out what the position of the camera should be, where you should sit, things like that. So, anyway, and I have written some things on my computer, so if you see me going that way, that's why. I got my master's in mental health counseling from Nyack College, AGSC. Whoop whoop, warriors in the house. For those that don't know, Nyack is a Christian college. So we learned all the theories, we learned about how to do counseling, but we also grew as Christians, and we learned how to integrate our profession and our faith. So I've been a Christian for a little over 10 years now. I'm a Christian, I'm a counselor, and I have my own struggles with mental health, specifically with depression, and some anxiety. I was recently told by the doctor, you've been depressed most of your life, right? And it didn't really dawn on me, and it really hit me like a ton of bricks. It was very painful. So I get it why people are resistant to get help, and it can be very painful when somebody tells you a diagnosis. It feels like a label. It can be helpful because you can get the kind of support that you need and the services that you need, but it just hurts because you're putting like a label on something. But, and even coming out today and talking about my struggles and making these videos is hard because as a Christian and a counselor, it's like this image that you have to keep up, like the fear is that the depression will make me less than or inadequate or unqualified, disqualified. Like I've dealt with things like, oh, it makes me a bad person, or means that I have a lack of faith and that's why I can't overcome this. But that's just not true. And if that's you today, if you're dealing with any mental illness, bipolar, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, anything like that, just know that it doesn't make you a bad person. It's not your fault. It doesn't make you less than. That being said, there are things that we need to do for ourselves. But if you believe in God, God can help you with that. And regardless, there are people out there that can help you. It doesn't have to disqualify you. It doesn't have to shame you, right? Because, mental illness is hard enough to deal with. We don't need to be putting ourselves down and making ourselves feel bad about ourselves. And it doesn't have to disqualify us from having a fruitful life and career. At one point in my life, at this point in my life, I'm aware of my struggles. I'm getting help. I'm addressing them. And I am keeping myself in check. I'm a lot more stable now. And I am keeping myself grounded. I'm making sure to check in with myself when I'm not doing so good, to do those self-care things. At the depth of my depression, it was a struggle to get up, to go to work. I felt like, how can I help people when I'm such a mess? And to a certain extent, it's true, right? Because you need to be okay in order to help other people. But at the same time, I found that I would get up every day. By the grace of God, I was able to get up every day and go to work, almost every day. And I was able to kind of put my needs and my concerns aside for a few hours and help people that truly needed it. And it felt amazing, and I think a big part of my healing came from just being able to go to work and help people, even when I didn't feel good, I remember this one time, I'll never forget, I was going through a really, really dark time, and I reached out, I got help, and actually, in fact, the organization that I work for is the reason that I got the help that I needed, because they were one of, the place where I went to get help was one of the resources that we have and that we give to clients. And so I was able to go to this, place and get help. And, while I'm in that place, I get a call from someone that's in a similar situation. And I was able to tell her, there's this amazing service that they have. You should go here. You should do that. And here's how you apply. And it was just amazing. The cool part was that, I got so passionate about it, and I was so knowledgeable about it, and empathetic and emphatic that, my boss came out of her office and she insisted on telling my supervisor to tell me how amazing I was doing, to tell me the amazing job that I was doing. And then later, she pulled me to the side in the hallway just to tell me that as well. I didn't get a chance to talk to her, so I emailed her, and she was like, I just wanted to reiterate, what I told your supervisor. And it was hilarious because if they only knew the reason why I was so good at what I was doing was because I was struggling so deeply, But that's the amazing part about it is, being able to be there for other people. It wasn't easy, and I still have to deal with myself. I still have to guard myself to make sure that I don't get triggered by what I hear. But thank God I'm so much more stable now. And so I just want to encourage those of you that are working or that want to work and you're dealing with mental illness and you're not sure what to do, you're not sure where you stand with your medication, or you're not sure where you stand with your symptoms or what kind of help you can get, just know that you still have something to offer to the world. A big part of mental illness is feeling, less than, or feeling like there's nothing to offer, and that's what makes people suicidal, and that's what makes people, kind of fall off, but, fall deeper into mental illness. But you do have something to offer, and if you're part of the faith community, the Christian community, just, you can be a trophy of grace. That's what I am. The grace of God gets me through every single day that I struggle and leads me to where to get help, tells me when to reach out and who to reach out to. A lot of people struggle with depression, anxiety, other forms of mental illness. A lot of them are Christians. A lot of them are people of the faith communities. Doesn't mean that you're not saved. It doesn't mean that you have less faith, regardless of what your faith is, right? So, if you are practicing Muslim, if you're a practicing Jew, it doesn't mean that you're less holy or you're less, religious. These are our real concerns, medical concerns for a lot of reasons, in a lot of situations. A lot of professionals struggle with mental illness. You'd be surprised at how many doctors have doctors, how many therapists are sitting on the other side of that chair, of that desk, The main thing is just to be aware of your struggles, to get help, and then to be able to help others, With my whole, with everything that I've been through and I'm going through, I said, my prayer is always, God, help me get out of this, and that I wouldn't, not only that I would get out of it, but also that I'd be able to pull other people out, because I've gone through too much to just make it about me. I know that a lot of people are struggling with the things that I've struggled with, and again, I'm so grateful that I'm doing so much better, and now I just really want to help other people get better. Yeah, and that's it for this video, at least.